You know, there's a philosophy of freedom out there that most people never ever get to learn. It was created by one of the most brilliant minds of the 20th century, someone who was actually living inside the very trap she was trying to break apart, and it all starts with one really fundamental question. So I want you to just think about this for a second. It sounds simple, right? But the answer is, well, it's anything but. Who actually gets to decide who you are? Is it you, your parents, your job, the culture you live in? Who gets the final say?
We've all felt it, that feeling of being put in a box. You get defined by a single word, mother, manager, artist, student, as if that one little label could possibly capture everything you are. That feeling, right there, is the jumping-off point for this whole explainer.
We're going to call this whole thing the definition trap. And to really get it, we need to look at the life of the philosopher who saw it more clearly than anyone else, the one and only Simone de Beauvoir.
See, this context is absolutely key to our entire life's work. De Beauvoir was a total philosophical powerhouse, but for so much of her life, she was just seen as the woman beside the great man, Jean-Paul Sartre. Her own incredible, profound ideas were often just waved away as if they were just footnotes to his work. She was literally living, from the inside, what it feels like to be an object in someone else's story instead of the hero of your own.
But here's the amazing part. From that very personal, very frustrating predicament, she built this powerful, universal philosophy of freedom, a kind of roadmap to escape the very trap she knew so well.
At the heart of it all is this core existentialist idea: existence precedes essence. All that means is you aren't born with some fixed nature or a destiny that's already written for you. You're not like a chair, built for sitting. Nope. You exist first, just pure potential. And then, with every single choice you make, you start to create your essence, which is just a fancy word for the person you become. And this is where she took that idea and ran with it, a crucial step further. De Beauvoir said, look, your freedom isn't just about you. If you're walking around claiming to be free while the people around you are oppressed, you haven't actually achieved freedom. What you've got is a privilege that depends on them not being free. For her, genuine freedom is a team sport. It's about creating a world where everyone has the chance to be free.
She was completely obsessed with this problem she called the other. It's our very human habit of seeing ourselves through other people's eyes. We take the image they have of us, the profile, the label, and we start living our lives to match it. We basically curate ourselves for their approval. And why? Because defining yourself from the inside out is absolutely terrifying. It's just so much easier to let someone else do the hard work for you.
And she called this choice bad faith. Now, that sounds, well, bad, but it's not really a moral judgment. It's more of a description of a kind of comfort. It's that cozy feeling of saying, oh, I had no choice, or, well, this is just who I am. It's pretending you're just a product of your past so you can dodge the immense and, frankly, scary responsibility of your own freedom.
This chart brilliantly shows the central tension in her work, which she called the ethics of ambiguity. We are all at the same time both radically free and completely situated. We're stuck with our bodies, our histories, our societies. The temptation is to just pick a side, to make it simpler. On one hand, you can deny your freedom and blame everything on your circumstances. Or on the other hand, you can deny your situation and pretend you have this fantasy of unlimited control. De Beauvoir says, no. The only authentic way to live is to walk that tightrope right down the middle, to accept both your freedom and your limits. So let's bring this down to earth. How does this big philosophical idea actually play out in our everyday lives? Well, it shows up as a constant battle, the battle between the role we're assigned and the self we have to create.
Getting this difference is so important. The role, your job title, your family status, that's all external. It's given to you. And you know what? It can be taken away in a heartbeat. An identity built on something so fragile is always going to be shaky. But the self? That's internal. That's what you build, piece by piece. It exists whether anyone else sees it or not, and it's the only foundation that's truly stable. Confusing these two is probably one of the biggest mistakes we can make.
And that leads us to maybe the single most important and terrifying question her philosophy forces us to ask ourselves. When you strip away the job, the expectations, all the labels people have put on you, who is actually left? Who are you when nobody is looking, when nobody is telling you who you're supposed to be?
So that brings us to the hardest part of this whole thing, because choosing your true self over the comfortable role, choosing to be real, yeah, it has a cost. And de Beauvoir was brutally honest about that. She describes it as taking a leap.
First, you have to actively refuse the role that you've been handed. Just say no. Second, you have to learn to tolerate the massive anxiety that comes with being undefined, of living in that empty space between who you were and who you're becoming. And third, and this is a big one, you have to accept the friction. The people in your life who counted on you playing your role, they're going to be uncomfortable. Some relationships might not even survive. And that's not a bug, it's a feature. It's part of choosing to be authentic.
And this, right here, is the part that most people just can't swallow. Real freedom isn't about escaping responsibility. It's about taking on all of it. The genuinely free person can't hide behind their circumstances anymore. They can't blame their past or their family or their job. They chose, they are choosing, they are 100% responsible for the person they are creating right now in this moment. It's terrifying, for sure, but it's the only way to have a life that is actually, truly yours.
Simone de Beauvoir spent her entire life trying to hammer home this one world-changing truth. You are not the role. You are not the category. You are not the definition that someone else handed you. You never were.
And so the question that she leaves us with, the one I really want to leave you with today, isn't just whether you understand this idea. It's whether you're willing to live your life as if it's true.